Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on until victory is won. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello. I want to give Ashley another round of applause because that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful performance. Hi, everyone. So I want to welcome everybody. Good evening. This is Game Changers, KYW Newsradio's annual award ceremony honoring people of distinction making a difference in our communities of color. For those who might be unfamiliar, KYW Newsradio is part of Odyssey, a multi-platform audio news and entertainment company. Odyssey has one of the largest radio, digital, and podcasting platforms footprints in the country. So it's the parent company of KYW Newsradio 103.9 FM, Sports Radio 94 WIP, B101, Big 98.1, 96.5 WTDY, and 1210 WPHT here in Philadelphia. I am Christina Coppicer, the brand manager and digital director of content for KYW Newsradio. So What we do every day at our station is bring people together through the news, no matter where it takes us. Of course, we tackle big things like Pennsylvania's role in the 2022 midterm elections, the upcoming mayoral race and the impacts that'll have. But where I think we really shine is in telling stories of the people and the communities who might otherwise go untold. We pride ourselves in getting to the heart of what makes Philadelphia a vibrant and diverse city, and it's something that we've been committed to for over 55 years. And because of that work, KYW Newsradio has developed one of the most diverse audiences in Philadelphia radio across geography, ages, genders, and ethnicities. This community-driven storytelling is something that we strive to do every day, not just in February, but for over a decade, we've put special focus on Black History Month on the stories of people making a difference in communities of color. Game Changers gives us a chance to highlight these tremendous stories about how regular people make huge positive influence and impact. And we're so proud to play a role in recording the history of Philadelphia in real time, every day. That's why it seems so fitting that Game Changers is here in the beautiful room in the Museum of the American Revolution, because they're unveiling a special exhibit that tells a story that could have gone untold of Black founders, the Fortin family of Philadelphia, and we're so thankful that James Fortin's remarkable story is being told now through this exhibit. So I really hope you guys all get a chance to see it. We're also thankful that we have sponsors who are willing to help us and support the great journalism we do every single day. Thank you to Parks, Casino, and Affordable Home Care for helping us put together this wonderful program and tonight's event. And if you would like to share on social media and honoring our honorees, you can use the hashtag KYW Game Changers and feel free to tag us at KYW Newsradio. As the director of digital content, I would be remiss if I did not mention social media. And now I want to introduce someone who can tell you even more about the work that's being done here in this stunning building, Adrienne Whaley, who is the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Museum of the American Revolution. So Adrienne, here you go.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Museum of the American Revolution. Have any of you been here before? Oh, I love that. Like the throaty yes coming from over here and some hands raised and everything. I really appreciate that. We have only been open for a little bit, over 6 years at this point in time. So we are still brand new. That means that if you are coming here for the first time this evening, we are really excited to have you as a new friend. And for those of you who've already been, we're so grateful to you for coming back. As you heard, I am the Director of Education and Community Engagement here at this institution. That means that my team is responsible for everything from school programs, teacher professional developments, family workshops and resources, first person and third person costumed interpretation when you see people like get dressed up in clothing from the past and tell stories like they're actually from that time. That's all the stuff that my team is responsible for. And we do it all based on the many rich stories that come out of the American Revolution. Our mission here is to uncover and share compelling stories about the diverse people and complex events that sparked America's ongoing experiment in liberty, equality, and self-government. Now, what we believe as an institution is that a more accurate story is a more diverse story, right? A more diverse story is a more accurate story. There are 2.5 million people in British North America on the eve of the American Revolution, and they are not all George Washington. Now, we have George Washington's original sleeping in office tent downstairs, so there's no way that I'm going to tell you his story is not important, but 1 out of every 5 of those people was a person of African descent. Tens of thousands of those people were Native Americans, and there were all different kinds of diversity that existed in that time period. And it's our responsibility and our pleasure to tell those stories. That includes the stories of people like Phyllis Wheatley and Elizabeth Freeman, people like Lemuel Haynes, people who were freedom seekers like London and Deborah and Eve down in Virginia, and so many other individuals. That includes the story of people like Ona Judge, who I know for sure that at least one person in this room knows very, very well. So it is a responsibility and our pleasure to tell those stories. And I'm particularly excited that you all are here with us this evening celebrating Game Changers, because the story that we are telling in our special exhibition right now is truly the story of not just one game changer, but a family of game changers, the Fortin family of Philadelphia. Have any of you all heard the name James Fortin? I see some hands, especially, for example, if you go to the African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas, you might know the story of James Fortin. If you have studied Philadelphia's Black history, that name might ring a bell. At the age of 9 years old, young James Fortin, who was born free in Philadelphia, heard the Declaration of Independence read for the very first time outside of the Pennsylvania State House, which is now known as Independence Hall. By the time he was 14, he was begging his mother to be able to sail on a privateer ship, which is basically a legal pirate ship. By the time he was 15, he had been captured by the British and was imprisoned on a British prison ship in New York Harbor. When he came back to Philadelphia, he worked in a sailmaking loft alongside a mixed group of individuals and eventually took over that sailmaking loft, running an operation that employed people, Black, white, and other, and became one of the wealthiest men in Philadelphia, investing his money in things like real estate and the support of anti-slavery and abolitionist causes, like the Liberator newspaper, which some of you all might be familiar with because of William Lloyd Garrison's name. He threw his weight, the weight of his voice, his influence, and his wealth behind causes to create positive change in Philadelphia and beyond. And then he and his wife, Charlotte Van Dyne Fortin, and we have to say the names of the women, right? So he and his wife, Charlotte Van Dyne Fortin, worked together to raise a generation of children and then a generation of grandchildren who would be deeply engaged in trying to force this city, this state, and this nation to live into revolutionary ideals. Members of the Fortin family fought in the Civil War, served as nurses in the Civil War, even went down to South Carolina to educate newly freed people during the Civil War. And there are members of that family who are still active in work to this day, including a branch of the family over in New Jersey who work in historic preservation and who lift up the stories of folks who are buried in places like Mount Holly and Mount Peace cemeteries over in historic Lawnside. So this is a family that all the way up until the present day has been actively involved in creating positive change. I want to invite you all to come back to this museum to see the exhibit, Black Founders, the Fortin Family of Philadelphia. It's going to be on display all the way until November the 26th, so you have plenty of time. But I want to tell you is come back soon so that you can tell all your friends and family to come, and then so that you can come back again and again and again. Because we have on display one of the original Fortin family Bibles. We have Fortin family objects that have been passed down from generation to generation and have never before been seen in public. We have the last remaining flag of the United States Colored Troops that was painted by African-American artist David Bustle Bowser on display downstairs. And we have the original 1780 Pennsylvania Act for the Gradual Abolition of Slavery, which is the document that essentially kicks off gradual abolition, not only in this state, but in the nation. That's on display downstairs. So I'm extending an invitation to all of you to come back to this museum to check out that special exhibition, but also to see the core exhibit, which also tells the story of James Fortin and any number of other people of African descent and others who were integral in the founding of this nation. We think that those stories connect to the present day in a million different ways, and we hope that they, alongside examples of people like you here who are being celebrated as game changers, help to inspire the next generations of folks, again, in this city, into this state, and in this nation to do better and to teach other folks how they can be better for our nation. Maybe together we can work to create a society that fully 100% lives into the best ideals of the American Revolution. So that's what I invite of you all. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. So our next guest, AKA the host, many of you have gotten to know her over the past several weeks, but it's my pleasure to introduce our host for the evening and the recipient of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists 2023 Community Impact Reporter Award. KYW Newsradio's community impact reporter and the host of the radio show and podcast Bridging Philly, Racquel Williams.
Good evening. How's everybody feeling? Good. Let me put my glasses on. I'm at that age. Need the glasses. And let's please lend another round of applause to Ashley Rice for that powerful performance of our national anthem and Lift Every Voice. Ashley is actually the official vocalist for the Philadelphia Union. You can check out her website, ashleyricemusic.com, to find out what she's doing and all about her music, and you'll be able to follow her because she is a game changer herself. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this evening's 11th annual GameChangers Award ceremony. We are here tonight to celebrate the individuals who have made a significant impact on their communities and uplifting the lives of communities of color, those who have dared to push the boundaries of what is possible, and in doing so, have in fact changed the game. In a world where change is constant and progress is rapid, it takes a special kind of person to lead the way, to change, or rather challenge convention, and to inspire others to follow. These game changers that we honor tonight have done just that. They have transformed lives, disrupted established norms, paved the way for new possibilities. These individuals have not just created new opportunities for themselves, but have also opened doors for others. They have brought new perspectives and new ways of thinking to the table and never lost sight of their goals. Tonight, we recognize and celebrate their achievements. And I think it's safe to say the Philadelphia region is a better place having them in it. Please be inspired by their constant, selfless acts of kindness. A few months ago, we put out the call for nominations. For about 6 weeks, those nominations streamed in. A panel of judges made up of last year's Game Changers read through each and every submission, and they voted for our 10 new honorees. It was a long process, and it was difficult for them because so many of the submissions were worthy of recognitions. And here we are. So without further ado, we're going to begin our evening celebration of our Game Changers. I want to first say congratulations to all of our nominees, and thank you for being the change that makes a difference. To set the mood for the evening, I called on, yet again, a game changer in his own right. Reverend Khalil Carmichael is a spiritual leader. He believes that every one of us can live whole, live well, and live free, and have our own authentic relationship with God. Pastor Carmichael is founder and senior pastor of Live Well Church in Windsor, New Jersey. He offers health and marriage ministry, as well as pastoral care and counseling. A double graduate from New York Theological Seminary, Pastor Carmichael holds a master's in divinity and a master's in pastoral care and counseling. Currently, he serves as staff hospice chaplain for Penn Medicine in Princeton. Please welcome a loving husband, father, podcaster, life coach, mentor, and my friend, Reverend Khalil Carmichael.
Come on, can we put our hands together and give God some praise? I feel like something good is about to happen. Don't you feel like something good is about to happen? It feels like something is changing. Feels like we're going higher. Things are getting better. Things are opening up. Do you feel like that? I feel like that. If you feel like that, let's just keep clapping and giving God some praise. I feel like the Eagles are going to win the championship next year. I feel like the Sixers, I'm going too far. All right, I'm going too far. Okay, too far. I want to thank Racquel for having me and KYW. I almost wore that jacket tonight, but thank God I did not. You know, my wife is here from Jersey with me. Wave your hand, sweetie. I just want to say hello to you. She's here. There she is. Amen. And so we're so grateful to be here with you tonight. Feels like I'm at a family reunion, but something good is happening. I'm just being very positive. I want to talk to you tonight about a game changer. You might have heard his name before. How many of you have heard the name Hosea? Hosea, yeah, in the Old Testament. Hosea was a game changer. What made Hosea a game changer was that he loved the unlovable without conditions. You know, God told him to do something that was countercultural, that was different, that was out the box. And he was going to make a difference not in just a nation's life, but he was going to make a difference in an individual's life. See, game changers just don't do things to make a difference in a big way. Game changers do things to make a difference in an ordinary but extraordinary way, even if it's one person. You know, I really admire those tonight. I was looking over your profiles and looking at your lives, and the reason why I really admire you is because you are laser focused on your calling. You know, you're not all over the place. You've heard the voice of God, and you're doing what God has called you to do. You know, some people, God calls them to be a podcaster, then God calls them to be a firefighter, then God calls them to be a teacher, and on and on and on. But God has called our game changers tonight to make a difference, to love without conditions, like Hosea. You guys know the story of Hosea. He was called to marry a woman that was promiscuous and to have children by her. And when she did exactly what we know her to do, Hosea was called to go back and get her and love her. Yeah, Hosea 3 says, God says to Hosea, go get Gomer, whom you married and who did you wrong, and show her your love. That's what game changers do. They show love. Oh, not like the Eros love that we just celebrated on Valentine's Day, and many of you have already forgotten. Not that love. That's surfacey. That comes and that goes. Not philos, not the brotherly love that's bringing us all here together, that's worthy of celebrating, but I'm talking about Hesed. Yeah, you thought I was going to say agape, but Hesed. Hesed is the Hebrew version of love, and it is a high form of love. It's a love laced in loyalty and kindness. It's the kind of love that gives you pinpoint, precise focus. All the young ladies that are playing with their hair and not paying attention to, you need to get a man that Heseds you. Yeah, Hesed is a high form of love, like Hosea. And this love is sacrificial. This love is selfless. And this love is spiritual. Hesed is sacrificial. Hesed is selfless. And Hesed is spiritual. Isn't there something about that? Spirit game changers, your love is sacrificial. I know you don't get all the accolades, and not everybody knows what you're doing. And I know you have come out of your pocket to make things happen on your own. That's love and that's sacrifice. I know it's selfless because sometimes you have to go and serve even when you're tired. That's Hesed. Selfless. And this Hesed love is spiritual. Now, this spiritual aspect takes us from the Old Testament Hesed to the New Testament agape. In 1 Corinthians 13, where Paul says, love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not rude. Love does not envy. Love never fails. The greatest hope, faith, and love, but the greatest of these three is love. Game changers, please, for the sake of everyone in the room, for the sake of everyone that you're serving, for the sake of our community and the sake of our nation, continue to love Hesed and agape like never before, and keep changing the game one person at a time. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Carmichael. Let us begin. Our first honorees are a mother-daughter duo dedicated to feeding people in their community. We're all familiar with Facebook challenges. Many of them are worth nothing. But this particular challenge by a friend took off very quickly, and it resulted in a new program in Camden. Let's hear more about Rosalind Jeffers and Antoinette Howard, founders of Melanin Meals on Wheels.
In honor of Black History Month, KYW Newsradio highlights our 2023 Game Changers, making a difference in communities of color.
I'm KYW Community Impact Reporter Racquel Williams. Rosalind Jeffers and Antoinette Howard are passionate about feeding people in their community. And according to Rosalind, it all started with a challenge by a friend on Facebook to come out and feed the homeless in Camden.
So I met the challenge. I went out there the next week and I started help feeding. And I got into it and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this every week with you.
So they started Melanin Meals on Wheels. Antoinette says everyone knows that when the Cadillac pulls up, good food is coming. And in that area, it's needed.
Plus, coming from a city where we do have food insecurity, especially when it comes to fresh food. We don't have a grocery store in Camden.
The mother-daughter duo delivers food every other Tuesday, along with supplying personal items. Rosalind says it's their calling.
When it comes from the heart, you're touching people that you never, ever, you would think that would say thank you. And that's what gets me. When somebody says, oh, I didn't eat last night, or I didn't eat yesterday, or do you have a coat, or do you have a blanket?
They say it's important to treat people with dignity and without judgment.
It's people right now who may look and dress the best every day they come to work, but you never know they're going through internal turmoil at home, struggling to feed their babies.
Their ultimate goal is to take it to the next level and have a tractor trailer equipped with a shower. Rosalind and Antoinette Jeffers are game changers for sure.
On behalf of KYW News Radio, it is my honor to present Rosalind Jeffers and Antoinette Howard with our 2023 Game Changers Award, changing the game by feeding their community. Come on up, Rosalind.
Good evening, everyone. Kind of nervous. I just want to say, God is in control. My friend, Patricia Feliciano, challenged me on Facebook. She said, come out and help feed. So I went out the first week, and I said, I could do this. We did it for a couple years, and then the pandemic hit. And my daughter said, Mom, the people's still hungry. I said, well, we got to go back out again. I put on my Facebook page, if anybody could help us, please do so. Anybody that know me, I will give you a receipt. Because I want everybody to know where the money is going. When I'm out there, I ask the people, can you take a picture? I said, because this picture means 1,000 words. It lets people know that we're just out there giving away anything that anybody gives us, food, clothes, socks. And I just want to say for all the people that came with me across that bridge from New Jersey, that helped me, because it takes a village to feed a whole lot of people in Camden. And I would like to thank all my people that came with me to celebrate this. And everybody that's nominated, I want to thank you for doing your job too. Because like I say, this room is filled with a lot of people. That means that's a lot of love out there. And I would like to thank Ms. Racquel and the group that picked us. I thank you from New Jersey. This is yours.
Thank you, Rosalind Jeffers. When it comes to learning about the civil rights movement, we often hear about historical figures like Medgar Evers, Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and rightfully so. But there were hundreds of thousands across the country fighting right alongside with them. And tonight, we honor one of them. Let's learn more about Karen Asper Jordan. She is a Cecil B. Moore freedom fighter.
I'm KYW Community Impact reporter Racquel Williams. When it comes to fighting for justice, equality, and civil rights, Karen Asper Jordan has led the effort in Philadelphia for years.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's a right that we have. And you don't want to give up the rights.
She teaches Philly youth about her time as a teenage girl fighting under the guidance of civil rights activist Cecil B. Moore as they protested for the desegregation of Girard College.
And we knew we were going to make a difference. That's what kept us going. And we were young and we believed. And he was a leader and he wasn't afraid of the police. We weren't either.
Karen was recognized as a Cecil B. Moore freedom fighter and is now president of that organization. She says everyone should practice civic engagement.
You're letting other people see. You're letting the children see. Everything we do, our children watch us. But when they see that you care and they see that you put your foot forward, they'll take a step too.
Karen has worked closely with the staff at Girard College, providing educational programs about the history of the protests and continues to inspire the youth.
We are winning battles every single day. And I want to be remembered as a fighter and a lover of people.
A freedom fighter with a story to tell. Karen Asper Jordan is a true game changer.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, it is my honor to award Karen Asper Jordan with our Game Changer Award. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so proud to be here. Somebody loved you before they knew you. Somebody loved me before they knew me. Those people that laid down their lives did it for us. They didn't know us, but they believed that they were going to make a difference. I started my, civil rights and human rights activities at 16 years old in 1965 at Girard College. Those of you that have jobs, we demonstrated for you. Couldn't work, we were too young to work, but we wanted to make it better for all of you and the people that came behind us. Be it slum landlords, be it the stores downtown that the only thing you could do, spend your money and mop floors. The airlines, they didn't want black pilots or anything else. The only thing you could do was clean up. Those of you that are working at the post office, that arrest you saw, I was about 16, 17 years old. I couldn't get a job. I worked for the Board of Education or the City of Philadelphia. At 16, was arrested at the State Building, went to work the next day, and I was fired at 16 years old because I had been fighting for the rights of people, for black folks especially. The work doesn't stop. For everything we do, for every step you take forward, somebody's going to try to knock you back. You don't think we fought for voting rights? What's happening now? Our children are being indoctrinated daily with negative thoughts, negative images on TV, and we have to fight that. For every negative image that they see in print, or if they see on television, there should be 3 or 4 positive things that our children are doing. There's a war against our children here in the United States of America, and our children are internalizing all of that negativity, and it's up to us to try to make a difference for them. And for the organizations that are out here now, those of you that work or you can spare $5 or $10, it's not much, but it's a lot to an organization. So just find a little organization out there, doesn't matter who it is, send them $10 a month. That could be stamps. And I'm saying the fight for equality and justice doesn't change. And we follow Cecil B. Moore, to me, the greatest man, the greatest lawyer in the city of Philadelphia. He was feared, and that's why all of us now are enjoying the fruits, because he believed in direct action, and they feared him in this city. And we believed in him, he believed in us. So I just say, I love you, and our saying was, as a young militant, that we loved you before we knew you, and that was from our founder of the Cecil B. Moore Philadelphia Freedom Fighters. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen Asper Jordan. One of the great things about Game Changers Awards is speaking with people who are just so humble that they don't even want the recognition for their work. And that is the case with most of our game changers here tonight. But this particular game changer finds it especially difficult to receive recognition for the work that he's done over his 80+ years on this earth. The person who nominated him says that he has changed the game and exemplifies the sincerity and dedication that people of color display daily in their communities, but are never recognized for their good works. Let us learn more about Pastor Joseph Scott Jr.
I'm KYW Community Impact reporter, Racquel Williams. Joseph Scott Jr. has been a pastor for over 50 years. He's dedicated his life to serving others, helping families keep the heat on in the winter, toys for kids during the holidays, and he wants no attention for it.
I do it because I came up in a large family. I do it because I understand some of the struggles. It doesn't matter how many scriptures you quote, you have to show that you care.
In 2019, his church, St. James in Camden, sustained major damage due to a fire, and they've been a church without walls ever since.
We have a Samaritan concept. We do search out for help and helping people.
One of 12 kids born and raised in Philadelphia, now in his 80s, Pastor Scott says his parents were his greatest inspiration. And back then, it was community that helped steer kids in the right direction.
There are good people who chased me off the block, made sure that they invested in me not being there. So my heart is for people.
Pastor Scott established a senior food bank, a high school GED training course, and drug and alcohol programs. He says serving has been his life's joy.
I'm like David the king, who has the title, but do not have the great finance. The crowning day hasn't come. I'm on my way home now.
Pastor Joseph Scott Jr., changing the game with care and compassion for his fellow man.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, it is my honor to present Pastor Joseph Scott Jr. with our 2023 Game Changer Award for being a true humanitarian.
Oh my goodness. Reverend, I tell you, I have high respect for what you said today, because I understand very well the pattern that you were laying in our presence. Thank God for you. And also this wonderful, sweet woman of God that someone dropped my name on. I was not looking for it. I've been working a very long time in game changing. You know, I would say way back when they had the cheese and, you know, where you welfare, where you stood in the line. And parents stood there and watched our families. I remember times when we had to go to church where we found our Christmas, one-leg dolls, wagons, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, and we made up the rest. When they made box scooters, you know, and all these other things. It's a very long story. There are some things have not changed, but thank God for game changers all through the history of my life that have caused things to be different. It's another day now, another time now. And I thank the Master for letting me live to see this day. I give credit to my mom, my dad, my family. Amen. And even now, I have a few that's with me that does what my father did. My father gave young men jobs. He couldn't hardly pay them, but he gave them jobs. If you ever walk in some of the areas, you say Joe Scott, everybody knew him because he loved everyone. He helped young men. And then not only that, but some of the people that know where you don't belong, they were able to help me. I really didn't want to be a good boy. Because you know bad is good. I didn't want to be a good boy, but thank God for men, brothers who would be on the corner. We don't have them anymore. The police cannot do this job. It takes a family person of the community to stand with them. They would come up to me and say, look, you don't belong here. And then I would quite naturally, because they gained the respect, and I was sort of fearful of what they do because they tell me where they would put their foot if I didn't get off the corner. And guess what? I skedaddled. Had good days, bad days, but I'm so grateful for this time and then such a crowd of people that care about people. The only reason that people don't care is because it's easy for them not to. But it takes one that cares to cause one that don't care to care. Thank you so much.
Bless you, sir.
Bless you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Pastor Scott Jr. Food insecurity is definitely an issue in the city of Philadelphia, and it is no surprise that many of our game changers over the years have been dedicated to feeding their communities. Our next honoree is a quiet and humble hero for hunger. It took a minute to track him down. He doesn't use the internet, doesn't have email. But when he finally returned my phone call, he said, I heard you were looking for me. How can I help you? How can you help me? No, Danielle Brent has been helping his neighbors for years with his community gardens full of fresh vegetables, feeding people in the area. Let's learn more about Danielle Brent, who is founder of Friends Garden for Peace and Understanding.
Reporter Racquel Williams. West Philly's Belmont neighborhood will always have fresh vegetables as long as Danielle Brent is around.
I am in a war against hunger, and for the past 8 years, I have been able to provide fresh and healthy vegetables.
He's familiar with hardship and hunger as he battled addiction and alcoholism for 25 years. Now feeding his neighbors is his life's mission and passion, so he started Friends Urban Garden for Peace and Understanding.
We partnered up with the local church here at the corner. The vegetables we get along with the food pantry, this is how we help keep the community going.
Spaces around Danielle's home is surrounded by an abundance of broccoli, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and greens, and every week he and a group of volunteers deliver food to anyone that needs it.
We deliver and give out a total of 120 bags, and the great part about us is don't come get one bag knowing that you need 4.
And he doesn't have to look far to point to his influences.
My heroes are in my community.
He's in the process of building garden beds in the backyard of families in the area so they too can share fresh produce. Danielle Brent is changing the game by fighting hunger and food insecurity.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, it is my honor to present Danielle Brent with our 2023 GameChangers Award, changing the game by waging war against hunger.
Thank you. You know, I just want to say thank you to first my sister, Rania, for introducing me to this work, who introduced me to my sister, Jen, who we started this out 6 years ago. Then you have my wife right here, Deborah Carver, my sister-in-law, Linda Drew Jones. I couldn't do what I do without this gentleman right. Stand up, Greg, stand up. That's my first and my brother, Gregory Brent. We have Shania Jones right there and Jessica too. People see what I do, but I can't do what I do without these people that's behind the scenes. So if it's okay with everybody, I accept this on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, Danielle Brent. KYW's Game Changers program is now in its 11th year, and it could not be possible without the help and support of our wonderful sponsors, such as Parks Casino. Please welcome their Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, Ron Davis.
Well, first of all, thank all of you for being part of this family. And not only the game changers, but it takes people behind those game changers, and I realize that. So on behalf of Parks Casino, which is proud, always reaching for excellence, how many of you been to Parks Casino? Oh, okay. Well, you know, of course, you know we have Dionne Warwick coming and Brian McKnight, and we've had many stars, but the stars are our employees. But in my life, as a representative for them, it gives me great pleasure to work with KYW, Baldini Communications, and each one of you. So please give yourselves a hand. Game Changers, please. And I want you to help me with a couple things. My journey has been different. I played in the NFL for a number of years. I played for the team that lost to the Eagles. We know what team that is. Anybody know? Come on. Playoffs. 49ers, yeah. I was drafted out of Virginia State, HBCU. All right. That's what I want to hear. and I'm a trustee at Mother Bethel AME. Richard Allen, get to know him. And I'm going to give you a test real quick. I'm going to say give a statement from the 60s, and I know you know this. The revolution will not be. Thank you. We remember that, don't we? And to the revolution here, to the American Revolution Center, and to all the docents and the people who do this is so valuable. But I want to just say a couple of things. One, I want you to help me with a phrase. To one person, you may be the world. To the world, you may be one person. To the world, you may be one person. Let me hear it. But to one person, you may be the world. Okay? Excellent. And in my journey, there's 2 or 3 points that I like to make. One is, and our game changers have given that symbol to us tonight. They have given that don't quit attitude. And Reverend, God is good all the time. So he teaches us not to quit. So when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're traveling seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile and you just sigh. When care is brushing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is filled with twists and turns. And then some of us also learns that many a problem turns about, and he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up the fight, though the pace seems slow. You might succeed in another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver clouds and a tint of doubt. And you never know how close you are. You might be so near and seem so far. So stick with the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse, you must not. Very nice. The other point I want to make, I want you to help me with, because there's a man named Bill Withers from Slab Fork, West Virginia. And I love his music, and I know a lot of you love his music. But I just want to say, when you get down and you need somebody, you can lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. All right. I was gonna get to this part. This is the part that I need your help with. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron Davis. Thank you for the song, too. All right, we will continue honoring our awardees. Now, at one point or another, many of us have been under the care of a medical facility, and nurses can truly make the difference in how you recover. And, of course, how you feel while you're being cared for. I always say that nurses are cut from a different cloth, and tonight we are honoring one of them. Lenore Sears Gay is special. She's taken in children with high acuity needs into her home, fostered them, and cared for them. Let's learn more about Lenore Sears Gay, who is founder of Lenore's Loving Care.
I'm KYW Community Impact Reporter Racquel Williams. Lenore Sears Gay is a nurse in Philadelphia and heads up Lenore's Loving Care. She's a medical foster care parent, one of the few in the city.
Many years ago, there was a child that literally starved to death that had cerebral palsy, and she was in the care, I believe, of a foster parent, and it broke my heart.
That's when she knew this would be her calling. Lenore has a gift for taking care of fragile pediatric patients.
It's challenging at times, but but it's always so rewarding at the end because many times I wind up reuniting families who were struggling.
Lenore adopted 2 of the children she was caring for and is in the process of adopting another. Caring for ill children is her passion.
Because it does make me feel good to make other people feel good. That's a wonderful, wonderful feeling when you have those little tiny arms hugging you around your neck and saying, I love you, Miss Lenore.
And she does all of this despite having multiple sclerosis.
You know, when I first got the devastating diagnosis, of course, I kind of wanted to just throw in the towel. But I thought about it, and there's so many people who rely on me.
Lenore also goes on medical missions and helped with earthquake victims in Haiti. Here at home, she conducts coat and clothing drives. Lenore Sears Gay, a truly inspiring game changer.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, I am honored to present our 2023 Game Changers Award to Lenore Sears Gay, changing the game by caring for children.
I want to thank the committee and Ms. Racquel for nominating me and picking me for this wonderful award. And I want to thank my family too. My family thinks I'm crazy for all the things that I do, but they always come and support me whenever I have a mission or whatever new thing that I want to do to help the community. And I just want to encourage everybody that I think all of us underestimate what we can do to help our fellow man. We all have an inner leader inside of us. You have to find your joy and your passion and go with it. My passion is children. My mission is to not see one child feel unloved and uncared for. I think all of us can contribute to society in some kind of way, whether it's being a big brother, big sister to that little kid down the street that doesn't have anybody, or helping an elderly person take their air conditioner out the window. We all can do something. You don't have to do to the extent that I do, of course, but certainly you can dedicate maybe 1 hour a week or 4 hours a month to something that you're passionate about. Can you imagine what a difference we can all make in this society if all of us just did 1 hour a week to what you believe in, or 4 hours a month? It really isn't a lot. We may waste more time on Instagram, Facebook, and other nonsense. So I implore everybody, in the sound of my voice, just take 1 hour a week and do something to help your fellow man. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenore. As we celebrate Black History Month, it is important that we remind our children and our family members to sit down and interview our elders about their experiences. Have a talk with them. Find out what went on in their lives. Any artifacts that they have, gather them up. We need to be able to teach the next generation about our past. This is a passion for Diane Turner. She is truly an unsung hero in Philadelphia when it comes to preserving history. She is the curator of the Charles L. Blockson Afro-American Collection at Temple University. Let's learn more about the work of Diane Turner.
I'm KYW Community Impact Reporter Racquel Williams. Preserving history is essential for teaching future generations, and that's exactly what Diane Turner is all about.
African American history is American history, and African history is world history, and it's for everybody.
An accomplished author and curator of the Charles L. Blockson Afro-American Collection at Temple University, Diane also has a passion for mentoring and teaching young students.
I try to let them know, to have a sense of pride in their history, that there's no shame about slavery.
Diane's main mentor was her father, who was a Montford Point Marine, which desegregated the Marine Corps. She's now president of the Philadelphia Chapter 1 Auxiliary of the Montford Point Marines.
We teach young people about the service of African Americans, because oftentimes it gets left out. African Americans have served in every war from the American Revolution up to the present.
Diane encourages and helps others to save documents and historical artifacts in their own families and communities.
For every bad thing that happens, or we hear about, there's 100,000 good things that are going on. And so I want to be part of those 100,000 good things that are going on.
Diane Turner, changing the game by preserving our history.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, it's my honor to present our 2023 Game Changer Award to Diane Turner, changing the game by preserving our history.
I thank the good Lord, because if it had not been for the Lord on our side, where would we be? Right. Also thank Racquel Williams, KYW, for this honor. At the Charles L. Blockson Afro-American Collection, we collect, preserve, and disseminate the histories of people of African descent 365 days. The collection holds over 700,000 items. These are critical times. We are witnessing attacks on our history, which is American history. This is not new. Back in 1922, prior to Dr. Carter G. Woodson starting Negro History Week in 1926, which became Black History Month during the 70s, he wrote The Negro in Our History. In 1925, teachers at the Negro Manual and Training High School in Muskogee, Oklahoma, adopted Woodson's publication as a textbook, resulting in a backlash by the school board. The book was banned, the copies were seized, teachers were punished, and the principal forced to resign. As a historian and curator, my mission is to educate, to teach, and offer the public access to the truth. Because knowledge is power. On a personal level, two values that I was taught are to promote love and to serve the community, especially the most vulnerable. I humbly accept this award, but it's not about me. It's about we. I accept on behalf of our ancestors, especially my own family, my father, Corporal Thomas S. Turner Sr., my sister, Pastor Tammy Ford, all of the original Montford Point Marines. I accept on behalf of my family members here, my brothers, Thomas S. Turner Jr. and Pastor Mario Ford, my sisters, Alice Wright Bailey and Lisa Talley, my niece, Tiffany, my extended family, Pastor Rashad Grove, Carol and Richard Bright, Sandra and Sandra Fuller, and my mentors, Charles L. Blockson, Professor Clement Cato, Professor Rhett Jones, Professor Hakeem Mahamboudi, and Professor Malafe Asante. I'd just like to leave you with some words to live by, that I live by. Families are the foundation for the community. Never stop growing. Learn to love. Contribute rather than consume. Build rather than destroy. Love rather than hate. Serve rather than take. Help rather than reject. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane Turner. The gun violence epidemic in the city of Philadelphia and surrounding areas is not just a series of news articles, shocking news clips, and social media posts. There are human beings, loving families that are left to deal with the trauma. Melanie Nelson has dedicated much of her life to assisting co-homicide survivors in their most vulnerable state. The Philadelphia DA's office is lucky to have her now as director of their CARES unit. Let's learn more about the work of Melanie Nelson.
I'm KYW Community Impact reporter Racquel Williams. Melanie Nelson is director of the CARES unit at the Philadelphia DA's office, but her love of helping victims and co-homicide survivors grew out of her work with Northwest Victim Services, where her mother served as a director before she did.
I absolutely love helping people, and anybody could call me any time of the day, and I would move a mountain for them.
This type of work is not for everyone and requires deep compassion and care.
I would hug that mother who lost their child to gun violence, and we would just sit on the couch and we would talk for hours. And before leaving, a mother could say to me, "I love you."
Melanie's parents are her role models.
You got two young African-American people born and raised in North Philly, poor, but when they became adults, they said that they would always give back.
Whether it's raising money for funeral expenses or helping with relocation, she does it from the heart and says we all truly need to look out for one another.
And God forbid that I'm ever in a situation where crime affects me. I want someone to love on me and to be able to help me in my time of need. So I actually put myself in the shoes of everyone that I help.
Melanie Nelson, changing the game by serving people impacted by violent crime.
It is my honor to present our 2023 Game Changers Award to Melanie Nelson, changing the game by supporting co-homicide victims.
Thank you so much for this award. But understand, this award is not only extended to me, it's extended to the queen in my life, my mother, Patricia A. Payne. It's extended to the king in my life, Reverend Dr. John L. Payne, who is my daddy. It's extended to the prince in my life, who is my husband, Andre Nelson. It's extended to my mentor, Pat Fisher. It's extended to my aunt, Rosalind, my cousin, Maria, my niece, Kiki, and my church folk, Aunt Carolyn. It's extended to all of those who poured love into me, unconditional love every single day. Because of them, I am the woman who stands before you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie Nelson. This next duo is a match made in heaven. Brent Johnstone and Akeef Staples are founders of Fathers Read 365. The person who nominated them said this: with the proliferation of errant shootings and random violence plaguing Philadelphia, families of young children do not have the opportunity to safely and easily access books from libraries or bookstores in impoverished areas. Fathers Read 365 solves a piece of this literacy puzzle by bringing not only the books, but theatrical presentation of words and reading to susceptible populations, most of whom live in resource deserts. Let's learn more about Fathers Read 365.
I'm KYW Community Impact reporter Racquel Williams. Brent Johnstone and Akeem Staples are the founders of Fathers Read 365. They met 25 years ago at Temple University while on the football team.
And we were looking at creating a football/tutoring mentoring program, but it really didn't transpire into anything, and we kind of just went our separate ways.
Akeem says after they separated, they both created fatherhood initiatives.
It was a suggestion of one of our constituents. He said, you guys probably should talk.
Fathers Read 365 is an early intervention program that encourages daily reading to children to develop literacy from birth. Akeem says it's important to see men of color leading in literacy.
The more that we can show up and be present, and they see two Black African-American men in their space, the possibilities can be endless.
Showing up at schools and reading to kids is simply a passion for Brent and Akeem.
Sometimes I even get emotional just thinking about what we do, because we're trying to prevent them from entering into a life that there may be no coming back from.
Fathers Read 365 has distributed over 100,000 books to youth so they can start their own personal home libraries. Akeem Staples and Brent Johnstone, changing the game through literacy initiatives.
It is my honor to present the award, 2023 Game Changers Award, to Akeem Staples and Brent Johnstone, founders of Fathers Read 365.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Since I did most of the talking on the interview, which Brent could not make it to, I'll keep it short here. But very humbled to be in the presence of these game changers. So thank you for the nomination and us accepting this award. There are so many things I wanted to say prior to getting up here, and that just all went out the window once I started to listen to everybody's story. But what we do, we definitely come from a place of love. And just being very thankful for the people that support us. And some people I would like to thank especially are my family. My wife, my 3 kids, my mother-in-law, sister, niece, my husband, his wife. I said my husband. My son. I'm married, folks. My wife is right here. Yes, right. My son. Yes, put that on the blooper reel, please. But just very thankful to everyone else out here who I consider an extension of my family. And I would really like to say thank you to my wife, because I grew up in a single-parent household. So the model of a father, I really had to create that myself, and just being around positive male figures. So I want to thank my wife for giving me a family to love on. And my children, who have me as their father. And when we started by taking books off their shelves, 3 books, and then we got to over 100,000. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, I just have a wife. Not a husband and a wife. But remember the kids at graduation who used to get all the awards? Yeah, well, I wasn't one of those, right? So when I receive an award, I'm very appreciative. And to be up here with the other game changers, man, you guys are doing some amazing things, and I truly look up to all the things that you are doing. Real quick, like Akeem said, when we started this, we literally just had a thought, right? We said, how can we help our community? And we came up with 5 programs, actually. And one of them was Fathers Read 365. We were known at the time as Fathers Lead 365. And everyone kept messing that up, and we kept messing it up. And we said, how can we be the most impactful in our community? And we said, and we looked at the literacy scores. Then we started looking at information around when men engage in early literacy. Guys, we do way better than the women. And we was like, wow, we have to start getting this information out here, because a lot of times in that family concept, the woman is usually looked at as that nurturer, as the educational person. I love my dad to death, best father I ever had. He never went to our school. My mom, on the other hand, went to the school all the time, right? And we said, how can we change that narrative? How can we be game changers? And we started going and reading in daycares. We never read in a daycare before. We started reading in daycares, and it just caught on like fire. And the more research we did, the more we learned, like, wow, kids don't even have books in these communities, and we're from these communities. So what I would like to share before I thank my wife and family, because they probably like, wait a minute, where's my shout out? But before I get to my wife and family, if I could, I would like to share some numbers that represent our Keith and our why. And actually, we're known as Mr. A and Mr. B to the kids we work with. So real quick, I want to go over some numbers. 300. 300 is 300 kids on average in impoverished communities share one book. 300 kids to one book. Another number I like to share, 13. In affluent neighborhoods, every kid on average has at least 13 books. So we go from 300 kids sharing one book, and we cross the streets, and one kid has at minimum 13 books. So what do we do? Right now, in 14 North Philly schools and 1 Southwest Philadelphia school for the last 2 years, we've given every pre-K and kindergarten student 13 free books and one book bag. Another number I like to share is 85%. 85% of juvenile delinquents read below a 4th grade read level. 75% of male adult prisoners read below a 4th grade read level. 48%, and this is real, means a lot to me, 48% of American prisoners live with dyslexia. Half of the prisoners in this country have a reading difference that we can fix, that we can help, and we don't. Why is that important to me? Because I live with dyslexia. Anytime I read and write, I'm going to struggle. And that frustration we see pour over in our streets right now. Guys, when kids can't read and live in poor communities, the decisions they start to make are very scary. Not just for them, but for everyone in this room and everyone in this city. Guys, when our babies can't read, when they can't write, they have no hope. They see no future. So one of the few things we thought we could do is, hey, can we at least get these kids some books? Because when we started it, it wasn't about giving out books. But then when you learn 61% of kids living in impoverished communities don't have a home library. So how can these babies get better? How can they read? How can they increase their vocabulary if they don't have the materials to read? So around 2020, we got very seriously about book distribution. During the pandemic, when everything shut down, and we gave out over 40,000 books in a Kia hatchback and a Nissan Altima. Literally gave out 100,000 books, storing them in our homes. Thank Anika, thank my wife Jessica. We were driving around with hundreds of books in the cars, doing everything. But guys, today we got our book bus. Vanguard funded us for a book bus, and we did our biggest presentation. We gave out 3,900 books, 300 kids, in a bilingual daycare where we gave 3 to 5 Spanish-speaking books for that community. And what we do is all from here. We love what we do, right? And before I start crying because I'm getting emotional because I'm looking at my mom, and that's who I really want to thank and dedicate this to, because she was a game changer for me. when I didn't know I had dyslexia, and it's 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, she helped me do my homework. She helped me read. When I look at myself giving out books now, my mom was a literacy Pied Piper. We lived on the first block on our long block, right? In the summertime, she had off with us. When she walked to the library, kids just came out the house. And they followed her to the library. She got them library cards. We watched Reading Rainbow. We had She didn't get paid for that. Half of them kids' parents probably didn't even know she was with them. But, Mom, thank you. I want to thank my sisters back there. Shout out to Food Chasers. Go check them out. But most importantly, I want to thank my family that's here with me who deal with all those books in the house. My wife, Jessica, my daughter, Gianna, and my son, Mason. Understand, guys, I do this all for you, and I love you guys more than you ever know. And if you can, see what we do. Y'all come out a lot and work with us. Y'all game changers, too. Live into it, okay? Find what you want to do in this world and explode. Love you guys. Love everyone here. Thank you.
Once again, Game Changers would not be possible without the help of our sponsors. I would like to now introduce to you Carla Garnes, who is Coordinator and Intake Manager at Affordable Home Care.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is such an honor for Affordable Home Care to have been invited here tonight in recognition of being a game changer. What's more amazing is to be able to be here and meet the game changers here on the front line and to hear all about what you guys do. It is so amazing. You guys touch my heart just individually with your stories, So I thank you guys for that. Being directly a part of something positive and impactful in the community of color is just one step forward in our line of initiatives. We started last year by visualizing and then building a plan to get involved and being intentional in every step. Affordable Home Care has aligned ourselves purposely to lift burdens and create opportunities in effort to change lives. We understand that our children are tomorrow's leaders and are going to make decisions directly affecting our generation. So we feel that it is up to us, all of us, to mold them. Affordable Home Care wants nothing more to be present in the game by helping to provide a reliable environment, opportunities to grow, encouragement, and connectivity to their visions. If only one person at a time, a group at a time, a family at a time, or one job at a time, Affordable Home Care will make it happen one day at a time. By readily ensuring that jobs are available, POW centers remain open, and caring for those in need while allowing them their wish to remain in their own home, it creates, maintains, and strengthens one's independence in the community. Awakening dreams and fulfilling one's heart desires is such a pleasure for us. We can only hope to generate a rippling effect of generosity throughout the community, inspiring others to help make the difference. We firmly believe that we can and we will continue to change the game. After all, it's not just about home care, it's about making you feel at home in our care. I also just want to go a little bit further, because I've been working myself in home care for about different agencies for the past 7 years. It wasn't until I joined the Affordable Home Care that I met such a wonderful and amazing man. The CEO of the company, I'm sorry, Igor, I'm putting you out there. No, but really, I just feel that, I have never met anybody in my life that I worked for who cared about anything other than the business, right? We care for individuals with illnesses, injuries, and disabilities on a daily basis. That's our main goal. But every time I come into work, this man is knocking at my door of my office talking about how can we help other people in the community? What can we do for the children? What can we do for the families? What can we do for people out here who need assistance in anything? He always wants to come out with so many different ideas, so many ways to be involved, hands-on, like not behind the scenes. He wants to go out, touch the communities, do anything possible. And I just think that we just got to 2023. We're already into like 2024 with all of our ideas because they won't fit in just this year. You know, we have a list and a line of things that we want to do. I am just so grateful to be a part of, this agency. This man is amazing. And all of our staff. We have some of the ladies here, some of our other managers and things that came along with us. And I think we all, have decided to be on board, come across to the same vision. And again, I just want to thank you guys for having us here, acknowledging us, allowing us to be in the room with such great individuals. And I hope that we can, just be more like you guys. Okay, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 2 more awardees left. Last but not least, our last 2. We've got a diverse group of game changers this year. Our next honoree is lots of fun. He uses music to foster deeper conversations surrounding mental health and all the issues that link us together. The person that nominated him wrote, Duji Mshenda describes Vinyl Tap 215 not as a brand at all or a party, but instead as group therapy for music lovers. Let's learn more about Duji Mshenda, founder of Vinyl Tap 215.
I'm KYW Community Impact reporter Racquel Williams. When it comes to moving the crowd, Philly's own Duji Mshenda has a gift for digging in the crates and unifying through music.
That little interaction that strangers have when they share an appreciation of music.
Duji is a professional DJ and founder of Vinyl Tap 215, a group of DJs that spin at coffee houses, stores, and anywhere folks want to gather to appreciate the true raw entertainment of good old-fashioned vinyl. He says it's really a form of mental health support.
The best part about Vinyl Tap is not necessarily the set that you play. You know what I mean? It's more about the conversations that you have when you're not playing your records.
The sets are safe spaces for all.
I don't have space or tolerance for overt misogyny. I don't have space or tolerance for overt homophobia or transphobia.
His love of music and records comes from his late mother, his greatest inspiration.
She would have little gatherings, with her friends would come over.
Duji is grateful as he reflects on the hard times when he lost his mother, dropped out of college, and often had to look for a warm place to sleep. Now he says he looks forward to what's in store.
Every step that I've taken in this vocation, sharing love through music, connecting with people, has been blessed.
Duji Mshenda, changing the game by unifying through music.
Come on up, Duji Mshenda. Accept your award for 2023 Game Changers.
Hi, my name is Duji. My pronouns are he, him, and OG. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All right, we got that way, right? Cool. I don't know what I'm going to say, y'all. I had a list of stuff on my phone. And so much that has happened today has been just amazing. People ask me, what is Vinyl Tap? I'm like, I don't know, you gotta come and just feel it. You just gotta come and feel it. The best I can say is off of what people told me. You walk in to the place and it feels like walking into a hug. You know, my mother had this saying in our house. It went something like, how did it go? I shall pass through this world but once. Any good thing that I can do for any creature, let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. So that was the ethos I was brought into as a young person. That was the example I was set. And as we're like in all these full circle moments of life right now, my child, she's been going to Lansdowne Friends School for the last 5 years, a little Quaker enclave over there. And we hadn't been on campus for like 2 years straight because of, you know, Rona been in the way. And we had to like take the most precautions for the community, for safety, for health. And one of the recent times I've been there, I looked over on the ground. Those same words I just said to you were right there on the ground in a plaque. So it's little things like that that reminds me I'm where I'm supposed to be. You know, another full circle moment. My wife, Kara, out there taking this photo film thing right now, used to work right here. Adrian was her boss. I remember the day I dropped her off for the job fair. You know, gave her a pep talk, said, you're gonna go get this job. And she did. I waited at Milk Crate Cafe until she was done. You know what I mean? She called me, picked me up, and like, you know, I picked her up and we, you know, next week or whatever, she was doing orientation. Now she's an adjunct professor at Tyler. You know, she moved forward after that. So, yeah, you know, it just speaks to progress, I guess. And this is me segueing into what I got in my pocket because I'm always working. So I'm also a visual artist. My first solo show is in West Philly this week. It's called Progress. I do this weird fractal art on my phone, and it just like, it reminds us that beauty is accessible. And when you just look at things a different way, you never know what you're going to experience. And I guess that's all I really got to say is we like, you know, we come together as different lights shining in different places and arranged in this lovely constellation we got here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Durji Mshenda. In a climate where police officers are sometimes not seen in a positive light, one of them is shining bright tonight. Officer Maurice Jackson of the Horsham Township Police Department went above and beyond the call of duty for a little boy who had just lost his father in a tragic accident, and he left quite an impression. Please be inspired as you hear more about the story of Officer Maurice Jackson.
KYW Community Impact reporter Racquel Williams. On a Sunday afternoon last 4th of July weekend, Officer Maurice Jackson of the Horsham Township Police Department responded to a medical emergency at a community pool where a young boy just lost his father who suffered a cardiac event in the water.
He wasn't really doing anything. He just kept saying, "Dad, wake up. Dad, wake up." I immediately grabbed him, carried him over to my patrol car.
It was just a week before Jalen's 4th birthday.
I just started asking him questions. I was like, just tell me, Jalen, what's your favorite color? Take his mind off of what was going on in that moment. I was scared for him.
Days later, he received a call from Jalen's mother.
She was like, well, since that day, he hasn't stopped talking about you. You know, he said that you made him feel safe. You comforted him.
Officer Jackson remained in Jalen's life. This past December was the first holiday for Jalen without his dad. and Officer Jackson and his fellow officers went all out, arriving at his home with police and fire trucks and sirens blaring, carrying lots of gifts for Jalen.
He sees me and immediately runs straight to me, gives me a big hug. He started clapping, he was jumping up and down, he was smiling.
The two formed a deep bond, and Jalen's mother says he loves and idolizes Officer Jackson.
I wanted to let her know that I was going to be here for as long as I can. Wherever capacity I can be there in, I promised I would be. I gained a little best friend.
Maurice Jackson, changing the game by stepping up and being a true hero and role model.
On behalf of KYW Newsradio, it is my honor to present our 2023 Game Changers Award to Officer Maurice Jackson of the Horsham Township Police Department and little Jalen. Sweetie. Congratulations. I'll hold that for you.
I'm a crybaby. Sorry about that. Everybody, this is Jalen. Say hi. So, I'm gonna kind of make this short, sweet. You guys set the bar high, Game Changers. You guys really did. I mean, this is what I aspire to be. You guys have from 80 years of changing the game to, I got about 4. You know, I started out at in Delaware Corrections in Wilmington, Delaware, working in prisons. And I started working in Southwest Philly. And then I made my way out to the county. And it was probably one of the best decisions I made because I met this guy right here. Okay. This is his mom. All right, so This is why I do what I do. You know, like in this climate, I mean, there's a lot of people that may look at me and automatically you hear police and you just turn your back. So, I mean, I know why I got into this profession and he reminds me of that every single day. I've been blessed with, I'm always baby boy, so I got a big brother over there and a big cousin. I've never had a little brother, now I do. So, with that being said, I want to thank, my friends and family for coming out. I want to thank PPD, Horsham PD, Delaware Corrections, that's where I got here. And right now, I just want to take a brief moment of silence for Jalen's dad and the fallen brother, Christopher Fitzgerald, Temple PD. So just give me a second. Thank you guys for everything. Congratulations, Game Changers. Let's keep changing the game. Who wanted to say something? Go ahead.
All right, thank you both. Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling uplifted? Thank you so much for coming out tonight to celebrate these noteworthy individuals. I do hope you're inspired and make some game-changing moves in your own community. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Parks and Affordable Home Care. A big thank you to the Museum of American Revolution for providing us with this wonderful space. Please come back and check out the new exhibit, Black Founders. Ashley Rice, thank you for lending your powerful voice to set things off. It's been a pleasure. Reverend Carmichael, for the words of inspiration, thank you. Sharing these stories with you tonight has been a pleasure. I leave you with one quote from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Please go spread love and light. Thank you so much. Safe drive home, everyone.